Question number 7 on Schoology. This is not a real situation. The table below shows the number of zombies recorded over a 4-day period. We have our days and our numbers of zombies represented in our table. Does the table represent growth or decay? And you can actually look at the table, and as the days keep going, what happens to our numbers? They're going up. So that's going to be growth. On Schoology it says type a 1 for growth, so we are going to put a 1 in that box. All right, what is the A value? Remembering that A means our initial value, which is another way to say what are we starting with. So when our experiment, when our observation begins, the timer, the stopwatch, the whatever is at 0. This is where we start. So how many zombies do we have at that start, at 0? Our timer, our stopwatch is on 0, and the answer is 2. All right, what is our B value? B value needs a little bit of work, and it's asking how we're getting from one number to the next. All right, so what are we doing? What is the pattern every time? If you see that you're adding 6 this first time, does that pattern keep happening? Are we just adding 6 every time? No, so we need to find another solution. So what is happening every time? We are multiplying by 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 4 is your 32. 32 times 4 gives you that 128, and so on. So our B value is what we are multiplying by. And if you knew that going in, you would know that it could not have been that 6, because we're again looking for a multiplication value. Our factor means multiply, so this is 4. Use the information above to write the equation, and we have a formula here to help us out, remembering that b to the x power is our exponential function equation. So we take the a value of 2 and we just put it in the a spot. We take the b value of 4 and we put it where the b goes. And you can type this in on Desmos so that you can see, and you can double check to make sure that you did it right. So we're going to type in 2 times 4 to the x power. And since I wrote those kind of big, that looks like x is not in the right line. So I'm going to rewrite that because that just bothers me. 2 times 4 to the x power is what it'll look like. And when we get onto Desmos, we're going to double check the table, and we're going to answer the following question. Use this equation. How many zombies would there be on day 5? So notice that your days are going to be your x column, and your number of zombies are your y column. So we need to figure out what number goes in that y column. So here we go. This is the equation that we just came up with. I am going to change it to a table by hitting my gear and then table. And it's going to fill in those numbers for us. And we don't have the negative values. You can go back in and delete those if you would like. But I am just going to start pressing in like this. And again, if you wanted to delete those values, you can. I got it to auto number by not changing the table immediately and just clicking on the 2 and hitting enter, and it did that for me. Does my table match? If it does, then that means I got the right equation. 2, 8, 32, 128, 5, 12 is on day 4. And our question is, how many zombies on day 5? So what would be next right here? 2048. 2048 is going to be the number that you type into that box. And I could have asked any question. I picked this one by hand so that if you did see that pattern, you could go ahead and do that by hand if you wanted. But you can also use the table to check yourself and to use that as a prediction tool. How many zombies would there be at the end of 1 week? We could go down to 7. 1 week is 7 days. And then we can see that answer as well. That was not a question on Schoology, but I did want to